Hello ladies and gentlemen, I'm Jobless, Senior Trading Manager with GDM. Today's outlook, we're starting briefly with the Asian equities, of course, outside of Hong Kong. They were lackluster on Thursday with weakening commodity prices. Also concerns over a slower growing in China and looming US rate hike, pressurizing markets across the region. Share markets in China, however, they trimmed slightly of their losses in the afternoon session, with the benchmark Shanghai Composite Index closing about 0.5% on the back of weaker blue-chip players. Also tracking the Japan's Nikkei 225 index, it flattened in a light trade despite fresh data that showed encouraging signs for capital expenditures in Asia's second biggest economy. Core machinery orders, usually seen as the leading indicator of capital expenditures, of course rose 7.5% in September according to figures released by the Cabinet Office on Thursday. The September figures followed a 5.7% slump in August, and the market the first increase in 4 months. Now, the dollar index, however, last traded at 98.76, drifting from a 7-month peak of 99.50 set on Tuesday. Against the yen, the greenback bought about 122.94 off 2.5-month high of 123.60 set earlier in the week. Going forward, the broad trend still favored the greenback, with expectations for a hike in the interest rates in US next month standing stark contrast to prospect for the more porous stimulus from European Central Bank. European equities, however, they opened slightly lower on Thursday as sliding oil prices remain in focus for investors. In other news, investors were left disappointed when the president of the European Central Bank, Mario Draghi, who spoke in London yesterday, offered no more hints on whether there was more monetary easing to come from the central bank. Euro was last at 1.0771, having been as low as 1.0674. Of course, we're looking also at gold prices. They were languished near the 3-month low on Thursday as investors positioned themselves for US rate hike this year, although they still awaited more clues from Federal Reserve officials speaking later in the day. A strong US non-farm payrolls report last week bolstered expectations that the Fed would hike rates for the first time in nearly a decade. And that is about probably to happen in its next policy meeting in December. Gold edged slightly higher with 0.2% to 10.8770 an ounce in late Asian trade, as of course the dollar eased slightly from a 7-month high. The metal had dropped to 1083.65 in the previous session, the lowest, of course, since August 7. Oil prices edged slightly away from over 2-month low on Thursday after a sharp slide on concerns that the market would take much longer than many anticipated to rebalance as suppliers and they are actually far outstripped the demand. US crude futures were at 43.90 a barrel in nearly European trade, up 26 cents from Wednesday, when prices tumbled 3% on the back of high production, raising US stocks and an economic slowdown in Asia. In the calendar today, we have various of Fed official speeches like Fed Bullard, Stanley Fischer, of course, Fed's Lacker, Evans, and William Dudley. Of course, we will hear what Janet Yellen has to say as well. All of these are in various times of the day, so keep an eye on the economic calendar. Stay tuned. That's all for us with us for today. See you next time.